Oh, that's a fabulous question.
Can you repeat that?
So Martina's question was, what's the difference between treatment and recovery? And if I don't lose the brain thought, we should probably talk about the difference between recovery and abstinence too. So treatment to me, is the process of getting help. So maybe you have the counselor who coaches you or gives you the good advice, or the Martinez of the world, or the people who lead you in the direction, or we call where I was in Minnesota treatment. We were in treatment. We had the rules, the schedule, the meetings, the meditation, the whole gamut. So that's like the act of getting the information or the help. To me, recovery is applying that information, living it, sharing it. I mean, the fundamentals of, I think, any recovery program is about giving back. It's about giving back and like the pay it forward method. And to me, that's what it means to be in recovery. My favorite part about this journey, and it blows me away every time, is reflection. So a year in, it's like, oh, I did all that. I feel this way. And then 3 months later, wow, things keep evolving and changing. And I believe in being really present and mindful. So I try to do that as well, but it's kind of fun to be reflective and take note of that. And also be like, wow, if I grew this much in this amount of time, what's it going to be like in a year from now or, 5 years from now? So it's pretty exciting to me. And then recovery and abstinence. Recovery is, to me, again, believing it, taking action. Abstinence means just removing the addiction. It doesn't mean that your attitudes have changed, your relationships have changed, your performance has changed. You're just not doing the thing. If I could speculate, it probably means you're doing a different unhealthy thing. Like I said, my sugar's ramped up, my smoking's ramped up. But recovery allows me the grace to forgive myself and go easy on myself. I'm going through so much stuff right now. Why would I put that extra pressure of being like, I have to play the quit smoking game or don't have ice cream game? Why would I do that to myself? Then I'm harming myself. But recovery gives me that perspective. Not gambling doesn't give me that perspective. Does that make sense? Wow. Yes.
So what you're saying then is recovery is best out of all life. Because abstinence, you stop what you were doing, but you're most likely incorporate something else in your life. But recovery for you is now going to be, well, for anybody with addiction, is going to be a lifelong journey. You'll be in recovery for the rest of your life, is what you're saying.
I feel that way. And it's not necessarily, it doesn't even have to be another addiction. I'm guessing that most of the times it would be, or something harmful. But recovery is, for me, it's been about that digging deep and having an open mind. In the rooms, we talk about how, honest, open, and willing. Did I read your mind?
Well, it's a transformation, right? It's a change. And that's the scriptural part of this, right? Sorry, but that's the part that I think a lot of people, just in general, right, that have relationship issues, just whatever, that have life problems, is they'll stop doing something, but it doesn't necessarily change the thought process. And then as soon as there's a big enough issue, the skill sets that you learn in treatment are not there to actually put you in recovery, but you're still just now, so that allows you to then flop back to where you were, right? So.
Thank you. That's perfect. Transformation, evolution. It's a job too. Again, another conversation, bless you, I had this week was from someone who isn't doing the thing, but also isn't getting better. And I'm like, I get the sense that you look at me and think that this just comes naturally, but I have to work on my recovery like 4 to 6 hours a day. And what does that look like? That looks like everything from standing here to going for a walk with my friend later, to listening or reading literature that fills my soul and lights me up. Like that's all part of recovery. Because if I'm not changing and growing, I'm probably going to end up back, like I'm already like still in numb land. And that was the other thing. Thank you. The circles have got me here, but I can't remember what you said specifically, but a big part of why I went to the casino and what I've heard a lot of people say or gambled in general is to numb or to escape. You know, I don't have to think about things there. And because I was having fun, it was a lot easier to ignore my phone. Like say if you're fighting with the boyfriend or the thing, I can ignore my phone or shut it off. And I know my friends who have been at the casino that aren't picking up the phone, chances are they're probably numbing too. Like I could see it from both lenses of that. So escape was a word I just wanted to call out in the presentation. Thank you for all the questions. And thank you for the opportunity.
I know some people that I know that like if they haven't gone, they might, like you said, they've stopped, but they haven't really gone through a true recovery journey. And usually what happens, they're in you know, what they would call recovery for like 6 months or whatever, and then all of a sudden they'll just start one day and say, I don't feel any better, so what's the use? I still have that craving, or I still have this wrong relationship, or I still don't seem like I'm getting anywhere in life. So why am I putting myself through this? And then they revert right back to where they started, and then you got to start the process all over again. So to me, I'm so glad that you emphasize that recovery. You have to get through recovery. You have to replace that addiction with good stuff. You have to take care of yourself. So it's worth it. It's worth going through the withdrawal. It's worth it because every day you're feeling better, you're looking better, you're accomplishing more. You've got something to get up in the morning and be thrilled about, you know. The way I was. Yeah, you got to. It's like life is so much better. Why would I ever want to go back there? That's where you got to get to that point.
I love that you brought that up. Thank you. The way I describe it on my show and the place I'm living in right now, I call it the bucket. So we have a bucket and it's filled with all the shit, right? Like all the bad things that got us here. So to me, recovery is sorting through it, scooping it out, right? And then replenishing it with the good stuff. And the super hard, dark, deep digging, I call the bottom 3 inches. So that was my 2020, was those bottom 3 inches to get to the root of all that stuff. Fortunately for me, before all this stuff happened, this last month with my family, I had gone on a trip and I filled my bucket. I went and mended a relationship. I went to a sales training for my job. I did all the things and I had a really full bucket. Because I can tell you, this last month has been trying to navigate the people and the stuff. If I didn't have my recovery, if I didn't have my counselor on speed dial, if I didn't have a meeting anytime I needed it, if I didn't have my group, if I didn't have the resources I did, I might be gambling this month. I might be drinking. I'll tell you, the drinking has been the hardest. It's like the double-edged sword this month because like my whole identity now is based on gambling recovery. So I feel like this accountability piece helps keep me clean too. But those feelings of like, I don't want to deal with these difficult situations and relatives and why do I have to make everybody feel better when I don't feel good right now? Because that's what's been going through my head. I mean, I've lost my mind a couple times throughout this last month. And it's like, wow, you don't get to do this to me. But if my bucket was empty, I might have lost my mind in much harder ways or worse ways this past month. Yes, Pastor Mark.
So just to kind of follow on from that, because I see that as well. So what is some advice that you can give? And this is a question I've asked the Healing Springs folks as well. And like, so you have this person that's addicted, right? A friend, family, or whatever. And maybe they're in abstinence and they're reluctant to get treatment. They're not wanting to go. They're not wanting to get the help. They're not wanting to change. What are some tools in your toolbox or in your bucket that you can give some advice to, one, how to listen, how to speak, you know, to help with getting them to where they should be?
Love that question. This is an opinion, but what I'm having to do, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to pick on my brother a little bit more So he really belongs in psychiatric care. And again, I don't know how the substances impact or whatever. So this is what I said to him. My mother's she nags, she does the thing. She was trying to find him a facility, all the stuff. For me, he'll do these, like, he's emotional and he leaves these voice messages. There's one I haven't even listened to because I was too scared it would screw up my mindset for today, right? So that's one thing, is taking away the power. But I said to him in a very loving, kind way, you're complaining about X, Y, and Z being broken. I'm going to tell you the secret. This is what I said. The secret is you take care of you. You figure out what works for you. You get the help, you do the thing. All the rest of the stuff will figure it out. I will love you. I'll be kind to you. I'll be honest with you. But for my health and my recovery, I can't engage in those things. And it's not because I love you any less, but this is where I have to be, because really, what would be the point if now, instead of me being able to help set an example and lift you up, that I go down to where he's at? That's not good for anybody. So and I won't tell you that it's easy, but that's also why I go back to focusing on ourselves, right? Like, even if you're not struggling with something specifically that you can call, there's probably still stuff that's impeding your bucket a little bit that you have to address and move through. And I'll tell you, the honest conversations I've had to have the last couple of weeks have been brutal. Like, my stepfather, was drinking up to this. And the first week I was there, I had to let him drink, right? Because he's the kind where if he stopped drinking, it could be medical injury. And I wasn't capable of handling that too. But I said, listen, Mom gets out of the hospital and nothing changes, there's no point of even fighting for her to live. Like, there is really no point if everybody's going to keep acting the same way they are. And I'm not saying it from a place of blame, but she can't sustain that level of stress. So if nobody changes. So he went to detox and he's taken ownership for his stuff. Now, I mean, it's still a long road, but I had that conversation, whether it did or didn't help, but I had to say it, and it takes practice.